Hey guys, so we're still working on 7-8 where we're making fractions into decimals. They mean the same exact thing and we're learning how to convert between the two of them. So I'm going to give you fractions and we're going to practice converting them, okay? So let's start with 5/10. So remember in the last video I showed you a strategy where you can look at the zeros. There's one of them. Then you write down what's in the numerator, 5. There would technically be a decimal point after it. And you're going to move it based on how many zeros you have. I had 1 0, so I'm going to move it forward 1. So that means this would be 0.5 as a decimal. Another way you can do it is you know that this is the tenths. This is basically saying 5/10. So it's in the tenths place. So I put the digit that's above it right there. So it becomes 0.5. Either strategy works. Whatever you'd like to use, you can. So let's try a few problems. Let's do 7/10. I want you to pause the video and you try it on your own. Okay, so I'm going to show you both ways. The first way is checking the zeros. There's 1 0. So I know I'm going to bring down my numerator and the decimal would have been right next to it. I'm going to move the decimal forward 1. It's not here anymore, it's now here. So that means the decimal was 0.7. Another way you can do it is by place. You know this is the tenths place. So this is the same as 7/10. So I make my decimal point, make my tenth place, put the numerator on top of it, so it becomes 0.7. See how either way got me my answer? Okay, let's try one more with tenths and then we'll move on to hundredths. So let's say you have 5, not 5, let's do 7/10. So we check our zeros. There's 1 0. We need to change it and convert it. So I'm going to take the 7. Let's see, did I already do 7? I just did 7/10. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I must have 7 on my mind. Let's do 9/10. So I have 1 0. So that means I bring my 9 down. The decimal point would have been right here. I move it forward 1 0 because there was one spot because there is 1 0. So that means my new decimal is 0.9. Now if I'm doing it the other way, this is the same as 9/10, meaning that this is the tenths place. So I put my decimal point, draw my tenth place, and put the numerator on top. This is now 0.9. See how they're the same? Either way can get you there. Okay, let's now try it with hundredths. So let's say I gave you 53 100ths. There are now 2 zeros. So that means I write down 53, take my numerator, I write it down here. Because there's 2 zeros, I get to move this decimal point forward 2 places. So this now becomes 0.53 or 53 hundredths. For the other way, we said this is 53 hundredths. So we would write 53. Oops, sorry, Dodger distracted me. We'd put our decimal point and put our place values in. We do tenths, hundredths. Then we make sure to put 1 digit on top of each in the exact order it was, meaning that I put my 5 and my 3, 5 on top of the tenths, 3 on top of the hundredths. And now I have 0.53. We ended up with the same. Okay, try this one. Do 67 100ths. Pause the video and you try yourself. Okay, so if you found it, we can see there are two zeros. So I would take 67. My decimal point would have been right here. Since there's two zeros, I get to move forward 1, 2. It's not here anymore. It's now in front of the 67. So that means 0.67 or 67 hundredths would be my answer. If I did it the other way, I know this is 67 hundredths because I can see that 100 represents hundredths. So I put my decimal and I draw my place values, tenths, hundredths. I write 67 on top, making sure I have the 6 on the tenths because it means 60 sevenths right there. And this would then become 67 hundredths. Same way, or same answer, different ways of getting there. Those are the two ways you can get there. Okay, try one more on your own. Let's do 13 100ths. So if you were given this, you can see that, so make sure you pause the video and we're going to solve this one. So you can see that there were two zeros and that, because of that, I write the 13 underneath and I can put my decimal point. Since there's two zeros, I get to move it forward 1, 2. It's not right behind the 13. Now it's in front of the 13. So it's 13 hundredths. Another way I can do it is with place value. This was 13 hundredths. So I know it's in the hundredths place. So I do tenths, hundredths, and I write the 13 up above. This then becomes 13 hundredths. Same answer, different ways. Okay, let's do some practice now on the Google Slides. See you guys.